Hey, what's up guys? It's Extrumer talking Joe here. And I called it. Today, the news came out that the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus will have a 48 megapixel camera. And if you recall, on my last iPhone 15 Pro leaks video covering the leaks, I said this. This iPhone is going to have new changes. For example, the camera, I think it will be the cameras from the iPhone 14. This has not been leaked, but I think they will keep the same cameras as the iPhone 14 Pro, and I'm not sure if you are getting the 48 megapixel or not, but I would bet that in the future, in the next 1 to 2 years, they will. I think Apple wants to have just a 48 megapixel because they always have the same main sensor as the Pro models on the year after they come out, so it makes sense that this year they will probably have the main sensor from the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So I predicted that the iPhone 15 Plus and iPhone 15 would have the same camera system as the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. And why did I predict this? Why it was so obvious to me that the newer iPhones, but the normal iPhones, would have the Pro camera system from the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max? Well, that's very simple. Because in the last few years, Apple has been reusing the Pro camera system the year before on the new normal iPhones on the year after. So the iPhone 14s had the same camera system as the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max. And if you analyze, the only difference would be the fact that the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus did not have the same telephoto camera. They don't have any telephoto camera. But I do believe that the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus will follow the same rule. They will have the same normal main 48 megapixel camera from the 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max, and they will have the same ultra-wide camera. Yes, the same camera system minus the telephoto. Yeah, I know it was a wild card, but Mac Rumors launched a new leak saying that the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus will feature the iPhone 14 Pro 48 megapixel main sensor. So I'm really excited to talk about all of this, the consequences on the iPhone lineup, how will the cameras of the iPhone 15, 15 Plus stack against the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, and what can we expect from this new lineup of iPhones, the iPhone 15 lineup. So if you are excited, don't forget to drop a like down below and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching, for all your support. Let's get started. So let's get out of the way all of the leaks surrounding the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. Well, if you don't know, the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus will feature more saturated colors, a new design. This design will be the same as the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. The only difference would be that they are rumored to use aluminium, not titanium, like the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. Then, of course, they will have more saturated colors, like a very deep pink or yellow or green, in the lines of the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus. Then it's also rumored to have USB-C, just like the Pro iPhones, but instead of having Thunderbolt like the Pro iPhones, the iPhone 15 or 15 Plus are rumored to have USB-C 3.0. And this is something that I truly believe, because it's normal for Apple to restrict Pro features from non-Pro users. And it's normal, it happens very much times. For example, the Thunderbolt port on the iPad Pro is not the same port as on the iPad Air. They have the same chip, the same M1 or M2 chip, but they don't have the same port. One has USB-C 3.0 speeds, and another has USB-C Thunderbolt forward speeds. So, yeah, I know, it's kind of weird, but believe me, it's going to happen. The iPhone 15 Plus and 15 will have USB-C 3.0, while the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max will have USB-C Thunderbolt port. This is really important because the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max can film in ProRes footage, and ProRes footage is huge, and this is the excuse that Apple is going to give for not giving the iPhone normal models Thunderbolt. They don't need it. While the excuse for the Pro models will be they can take huge files using ProRes, and now it will be much faster to transfer those files to your computer to edit, or iPad if you like the Final Cut Pro app on the new iPad. If you enjoyed that, go check my other videos on that. I think it's quite an explanation on all the details that this new app features. But going back for the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus new rumors, these phones are also rumored to have thinner bezels together with this new design. So these thinner bezels will represent a new screen strategy for Apple. According to rumors, the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus will feature thinner bezels and dynamic count. All of this will put the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus looking the same from the front as the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. And yet again, you ask yourself, what are the differences between these two phones? They have the same camera system, the same design, yes, different materials, but who cares? If they have the same screen look and the same screen bezels and the same dynamic count, what are the differences between these two screens? Well, easy. Promotion. the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max are going to have ProMotion, 120Hz variable refresh rate technology. This is important, very important. Let me tell you why. Because I've been using my iPhone 13 Pro and 14 Pro for the last 2 years, and I have to tell you that I cannot live without ProMotion. Everyone that has ProMotion cannot buy another phone that doesn't have ProMotion. So if you have bought an iPhone 14 Pro, 13 Pro in the last 3 years, you will not buy the iPhone 15. It just won't happen. Trust me, you will buy the iPhone 15 Pro simply because of ProMotion. The phone feels laggy after a while. After you start using ProMotion, you will notice that everyone else's phones that have 60 Hz will feel choppy, laggy, slow, and old. All of the features that you don't want your phone to feel when they are brand new, even after a year or two. These are the main reasons you upgrade your phone. And if your phone from the start feels like a very laggy, buggy experience, but it isn't, but the promotion actually made you feel that way, so you miss it, you buy the more expensive phone. Easy math. So I do believe that the iPhone 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max, although they will have the same look from the front as the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus, at least this year, yes, Apple will still sell tons of those Pro phones because of ProMotion. And of course, dynamic island, it's a good thing to come out with the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus, because these phones now will make dynamic island more mainstream. If they are more mainstream, it means that we are going to get more features for dynamic island. For us, Pro users, is better because dynamic island is good, you have some cool features, first-party features from Apple, but third-party options are very limited. You have Uber, you have Flighty app, you have Bolt, I think. They give you the status of your Uber ride, your food, your games, football games, your flight. They don't give you more than that. So I do believe that more third-party apps coming to dynamic island will be pretty cool. But I also believe that these two iPhones, the iPhone 15 Plus and 15, will have some features that will annoy much people. And those people will say, just buy the Pro models, because that's how the iPhone lineup works. Apple first introduces a new feature on the Pro models. Then they create a dumbed-down version of an iPhone, the iPhone 15, for example. They give it this feature, but some annoying features and annoying misses on that iPhone that everyone says, oh, it has that feature. But then, oh, it misses this from the Pro models. For only $150, you should upgrade. And everyone is simply upgrading for this one. All the people that cannot upgrade because they don't have the money, buy this one. So it's a win-win situation for Apple. Now, let's compare the cameras. Because that's where you are probably asking yourself, if Apple is going to give the iPhone 15 Plus and iPhone 15 the same camera system as the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max, and they are not going to change some things on the hardware for the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, won't they be giving the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus the same camera system as the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max? Well, that's a very interesting question, but I do believe that Apple is going to change some things on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. Leakers and rumors are not talking about it, but me as myself, the one that predicted that rumor before it actually happened, I'm also predicting that the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max are going to have some changes. Not just on the telephoto camera, that is also rumored that the iPhone 15 Pro Max will have a 6x telescope camera, so a periscope camera, a camera that can zoom 6x optically, not losing quality, probably 60x digitally, but not talking about that. I do believe they are going to make some changes to the design and hardware of the main camera and ultra-wide camera. I think they are going to get the sensor a little bit bigger. I think they are going to get the sensor wider, so in my opinion it will give it more light than the other lenses. But the iPhone 14 Pro has an aperture. The iPhone 13 Pro had a tighter aperture, so less light. This will improve night mode performance. So I do believe that the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max will have better night mode performance, better performance in general with better HDR than the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. This happens every single year again. Apple gives the Pro models, for example the iPhone 13 Pro, they give it the best camera system at the time. Then, when Apple launched the iPhone 14, they gave the iPhone 14 the same camera system as the iPhone 13 Pro. And what they did was they launched a 48 megapixel camera on top of that on the iPhone 14 Pro Max and 14 Pro. Now, what will they do? Well, they will improve the camera system of the iPhone 15, giving it the 48 megapixel sensor on the iPhone 14 Pro. Everyone will be excited, everyone will say this is a huge thing. But without much notice, they will say, now, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max feature new sensors. The same 40 megapixel sensor that you love and used on the iPhone 14 Pro, but now the aperture is wider and you can get more light. This will increase our capability of taking insane photos the video will be much better, and especially low light video and photography will be improved. So I think this is Apple's strategy. They innovate on the Pro models, then next year they give this same camera system to the normal models and they innovate again on the Pro models. This is a catch-up game between the normal model and the Pro model. The Pro model innovates a bit, the normal model innovates again, gets it back. But when this happens, the iPhone innovates again and creates the gap again. This happened with the camera system. The iPhone 13 Pro gave the camera system to the iPhone 14, catch it up, but Apple launched the iPhone 14 Pro and then create this again. This will happen again this year. It will catch up, but this year Apple will create another feature that will bump up the Pro models again. This is important to create differentiation between products, not to cannibalize the Pro model sales, which are the best sellers right now, and in my opinion, they are the phone that Apple likes to sell the most, because they are more profitable than the normal models. But again, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, a quick recap of what they are going to get is all of the features that I talked about to the iPhone 15, like the new design, USB-C with Thunderbolt. This time, they will get titanium, they will get less bezels, they now have dynamic island, they will keep dynamic island, they will have Pro colors, we don't know which, but they will have Pro colors, they will have better camera system than the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus, and of course they will have bigger camera bumps to accommodate these cameras. These are the all rumored features for the iPhone 15, 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. The one last thing that I want to talk about is the chip. Everyone is buzzing around saying the A17, the A17. Yeah, the A17 will happen, but only on the Pro models. The iPhone A17 chip with 3nm technology will happen on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, while the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus will probably get the A16 chip found on the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. So the big thing that you can actually take from this is that the normal iPhone, just like the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus, are just a little cheaper versions of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Yes, 14 Pro Max. They have one less lens, but they have the same camera system. They don't have stainless steel, they have aluminum, and they will have USB-C this time. But other than that, it's an iPhone 14 Pro Max on a disc, guys. It makes sense if you think about it, and I think this is Apple's product strategy for the iPhone, for the future. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Are you excited for the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus getting 48 megapixel sensors? This, in my opinion, will change forever the landscape for photography on the iPhone. The one thing that is left these phones to improve is, of course, ProMotion, but that's a story for another day. Let me know in the comments below what you think. This has been Tex, we're talking to you here. Bye bye.